watching this and you are married, be it a man or a woman, just try it and you see the wonders it's going to do for you. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Mommy T, and today I'm going to be sharing with you all some of the lessons I've learned within my 5 years of marriage. Is it 5 years? Yeah, it should be 5 years. I've been with my husband for almost 10 years, but we have practically been married for 5 years, and I'll be sharing some lessons I've learned about marriage within this period. There is no guy out there, no man on this planet better than my husband. This mentality has helped me a lot. Having this at the back of my mind makes me want to fight for my marriage. Yes, there are people out there who are good at things my husband is not good at, but there are things he's perfect at that no other man out there can do them. So having this mentality has really helped in my marriage, and it's a great lesson I've learned to see my spouse as the best. No matter the obstacles we are going through, he is still the best thing that has happened to me. So when you have that mentality, it helps a lot in bonding you to your spouse. And that leads me to my next point, which is appreciate your spouse for who he is, what he is, the things he does for you, the things he does for your family. Just so it's very, very important. Everybody feels good, everybody feels nice about themselves and feel encouraged each time they are being appreciated for something they are doing, and it encourages them to do more. Yeah, it encourages them to do more. So that's one great lesson I've learned in my marriage: always appreciating my spouse for all the things he does, all the sacrifices he's made. Trust me, this journey is not easy, and for it to have come this far, there have been a lot of sacrifices made, a lot of effort. So sitting and appreciating your spouse is a great lesson I've learned, and something I'm working on, and trust me, it's doing magic for my marriage. It's really doing wonders. And that's something, if you are watching this and you are married, be it a man or a woman, just try it and you see the wonders it's going to do for you. Men feel nice, even women, it feels good to be appreciated, and it's an encouragement when you are being appreciated. And that leads me to my next point, which is reassuring your spouse on daily basis that you are there for them, you want this marriage to work. That idea of, if you try that nonsense, I go pack Martin and go. Jeez, it's not good. Women in particular, we are fond of doing that. When there is small fire on the mountain, the next thing you want to do is, I want to pack Martin and go. Other man picking and for outside, they know. That mentality does not help any marriage. So I've learned that I need to always give my husband that assurance that I'm here for you. This forever journey, we come through our obstacles will come, but we are here together. We shall face it together. Giving him the assurance that you are there for him, it's very, 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 very important to the success of your marriage. And know that no man is perfect. If you leave your spouse, they might be for for a reason or for a mistake he made, that you're running to the next person. How sure are you that the next person will not do something that will offend you? Will you keep running from one home to another? So my main point here is appreciate your man, love your man, and give him assurance that you are there for him. Yeah, mine is not in, if it doesn't work, I'm going to the next person. I'm that kind of a person. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm desperate about my marriage being a success. As in, I will put in effort and anything I can do to see my marriage successful and to see my home happy and peaceful. And I'm not shy of that one at all. That's being a forgiver. I've learned that forgiving is not a sign of weakness, but rather is a sign of strength. There are days your spouse will get on your nerves, as in, you even be asking yourself, why did I marry this man? As in, why did I even get married to this guy? I'll pack up my things and leave. But at the end of the day, when a person realizes their error and apologize, you just need to take it, accept it, and look for a way forward rather than holding on to grudges. Lesson number two is asking for apology when you are wrong. The word I'm sorry has power. And most of the times I've realized that you offend your spouse and you're aware of the fact that there's something wrong and you just want to, like, us ladies in particular, we believe that in marriage we are the princesses, that the men always have to be the ones to apologize, the men always have to be the ones to make things right. But trust me, it is okay to apologize. In fact, it works magic when you realize that you've offended your spouse, and you walk up to them. I'm like, I'm sorry about this thing, maybe it was due to this or due to this. Can we just forget about it and move ahead? It's really helpful. That's a great lesson I've learned within this year. Saying you're sorry, it's not a sign of weakness anyway, it's rather a strength. Saying you're sorry just means your marriage is more important than your ego. You are putting your ego below your marriage, you're making your marriage a priority. So that's one great lesson I've learned. Moving on to the next lesson I've learned will be being a giver in order to receive. That I always call it pampering in order to be pampered. In marriage, you don't need to sit that you have to be at the receiving end. No, I've learned that if I have to, like, be treated well by my husband, I have to be treating him well as well. If you expect gifts from your man, you start buying him the gifts too. If you expect him to tell you I love you all the time, you will be at the forefront telling him I love you. It should be something that is reciprocated. If it's one person all the time, I love you all the time, I will love you, it becomes boring. And at a certain point, that person starts contemplating, like, does this woman love me too? So it's very important that you give your husband that assurance, you treat your spouse the way you want to be treated. I know we women want to be pampered with gifts, want to be showered with love. So I've learned that it's still okay to be the one at the pampering end, to be the one giving out the gifts, giving out the love and all. That's one great lesson I've learned. Another lesson I've learned will be marriage is a union of two forgivers. Yeah. For my marriage to be successful, I've learned that I need to be open to forgiveness. I need to be able to apologize when I'm wrong. You know, Holding on to a grudge destroys marriage. I've seen it makes everywhere gloomy when there is a problem and people haven't aired it out. And us women in particular, we are fond of, instead of saying what is wrong, maybe our spouse have offended us, we decide to always just sit and we are frowning our faces up and down, and men are fond of asking us, what is the problem? And you'll be like, nothing. They ask over and over, what is the problem? And you are still on nothing. Us women, we are fond of this. So I've learned that when you have a problem, approach your spouse with it. Tell your spouse, "Boo, you did this thing, you did that thing. I didn't like it, and this is how I felt about it." We talk over it and maybe come to a resolution. My next lesson I've learned too will be which other lesson? Okay, my next lesson I would say I've learned is communication. Yeah, they say communication is key to a successful marriage, and it doesn't just end at saying communication, communication. Finding a medium of communication too is very important. That's one lesson I've learned. I, for one, there are times that if a situation is crucial, it's a critical matter, that I feel if I have to sit my husband down for us to talk about it, maybe it might result to yellings and all. I'll prefer to text him. Yeah, texting became a means of communication for me because in a text there is no tone. And practically, even though there are some words you can still use in a text message that can come out as harsh, but I think over some tense situations, I've learned that instead of approaching my spouse physically, that we might end up yelling at each other, I've preferred to like send him a message, calm down with a calm mind, and like explain, or if it's to criticize, you really tell your spouse what you want, what the issue is, how you feel about a situation. That is so it varies from couple to couple, but that one works for me. Not that we don't sit physically and we discuss issues. We do that a lot, but I feel most of the times it avoids some tensions when I have to like communicate with him through text or maybe through WhatsApp. It calms down some kind of situations. Another lesson too I have learned will be making my marriage a priority. Yeah, it's important that when you get married, come on, trust me, a lot of things come into play, especially when kids start coming in, your own job, your family and all of that. But at the end of the day, I've learned that my marriage comes first, and with that mentality that my marriage is my top priority, you see, you are that at the back of your mind makes you to be able to put things at their position. This is what I'm doing now, this is how I'm going to be doing it. So making my marriage a priority has been a great lesson I've learned, and I've tried to work on this year. Another thing too is I've realized that how you portray your marriage to people determine how people see it. Like, how do I put this? Like, if you criticize your marriage to others, or you criticize your spouse to others, that's how people take it and join in the criticism. I've learned that before people respect my husband, I have to be the first person to show him that respect. And when you have to paint him in the light I want people to see him in, because if you're the type where he man, he do so, he do so, he do so, that's how people will always address that one. He must have do this, he must have do that. That one a man pikin. But if you have built that outside shield for your spouse, then I think it won't you. Yeah, you're not giving anybody room to say any kind of rubbish about your spouse, which is one lesson I've learned. Like, the image you portray out is what people get of your marriage. So always paint a good image of your spouse, no matter what the situation is. Do not watch your dirty lenience in public. Every marriage will definitely have its ups and its downs, but solve it within yourself and don't criticize your husband outside. Then this leads me to my next point, which is not sharing too much with people, especially marital issues. I've learned to create a medium to solve my problems alone rather than running to people. You know, in the initial days of my marriage, I always feel like when I have an issue, I need to call this person. Do you know that this of my husband has done this, he has done that, and it's really hurting me, it's really this, please talk to him. But I realized that wasn't the right way to go about things. It's instead better when I sit him down myself and we talk about it. Bringing in third party in your marriage is very bad. It comes with a lot of birth. But at the end of the day, the problem you might have confided in somebody, that the person to like sit down some with your spouse and talk to, might be what they, as you tell them, they tell the next person, and that's how the line continues. So I've learned to not involve third party in my marriage. I've learned to work things out the best way I can rather than approaching people, except the worst comes to the worst before you can think of maybe bringing in an elderly person, maybe a pastor or a counselor. But by confiding in relatives is something I've struggled and I've learned that I shouldn't. And my next lesson I've learned is keeping the fire burning. You know, in marriage, when we got married, things were rosy. It was just us. We had all the time for fun, going out. But when kids start coming, there's that temptation of kids this, kids that, business this, business that. But I've learned that for my marriage to be successful, for my marriage to be blissful, I've learned one important lesson, which is we have to still keep the fire burning. We need to still go out on dates. We need to keep dating ourselves, make our marriage interesting, make our marriage fun. So don't get carried away by the responsibility of marriage and forget about the fun in it, because that's what bonds people together. That alone time you people spend. Yes, there's always that temptation of being carried away by your responsibilities and everything, but I've learned not to forget about it. And if it means I'm the one who take my husband on dates sometimes, I really don't mind, because there are times he too does that, which is what brings me back to my previous point of being a giver in order to receive. That's a great principle of marriage I've learned within these years, that treating my spouse the way I want him to treat me, and it has really been working well for me. Another lesson I've learned to be saving the best for last. I will say, seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and every other thing shall be added unto you. The best lesson I've learned in marriage is to build my marriage on Christ. There is no way Christ will be involved in your marriage and it won't be successful. Christ is the foundation on which every marriage needs to stand on for it to be blissful and for it to be successful. There are so many other small lessons that I've learned about marriage which are really helpful, but these are the ones I've been able to recall today to share with you guys, maybe to encourage someone that marriage is tough. Yeah, it's tough. It always will be. But how you see it and the effort you put in it will determine whether it's going to be blissful or not. It's a beautiful rose with thorns within it. At the end of the day, we just have to ignore the thorns and see the beauty of the rose. That was all for today. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up and click on the subscription button, like and comment. See you on our next video. As usual, I'm your girl Mommy T.